Welcome back to Yahoo Finance Live. I'm Alexandra Canal, joined by Brooke DePalma, Josh Schafer. And guys, I want to kick us off with the stock that we talk about quite often, and that is Apple, the tech giant that is Apple. They reportedly want to earn the broadcast rights for Formula One, otherwise known as F1. According to Business F1 magazine, the reported bid is worth an estimated $2 billion a year for 7 years. Now, that would be double what F1 currently earns from its existing media deals on an annual basis. And F1 has multiple broadcast partners depending on where it is broadcasted in the world. So it's ESPN in the U.S., Sky Sports in the U.K., and Fox Sports in Australia and Mexico. But this, of course, comes on the heels of a lot of streaming companies really racing for sports content, no pun intended, to really create that stickiness on the platform. Apple also reportedly wants to get into college basketball?
College football.
College football.
Apple reportedly wants to get into every sport ever,
Right.
according to everyone else.
They have MLS.
Right.
The Messi effect.
That's the biggest thing I'm wondering out of this, is when is Apple going to actually get into most sports that people watch? No offense to the MLS, but that is not exactly one of the bigger leagues in the U.S.
Right. I think Messi really brought in a lot of folks there.
Messi helped them out and sort of made it a moment for Apple TV. But realistically, I wouldn't count the MLS as a big jump into sports. We've been told for several years now, Apple really wants to get into sports. But what happened in the NFL deal? Are you actually going to get into F1? Are you going to get into this NBA media rights deal when it comes up? At some point, Apple can get into these things if they want to. We talk about it all the time. They have the cash. Mm-hmm. Do they actually want to get in as bad as people are saying? I'm starting to question it until they actually do get in, because right now, having Major League Soccer to me is not some big sports push.
Well, I've been talking to a few analysts here, and they said that Apple is more quality over quantity, and they really want to get into these sports that have the opportunity to grow. So if you take a look at F1, it has a very young audience that's obviously attractive for Apple. And, it has the ability to grow in the United States. Already we have, from Drive to Survive, from Netflix, this interest around F1 becoming more and more apparent, and there's more room to run down the line. So I do think in that respect, and you could argue the MLS is the same way. Yes, it's crazy popular overseas. It probably is, it doesn't have the same effect in the U.S. It's starting to. Mm-hmm. I think Lionel Messi was a good step in that direction. So to just play devil's advocate, to your point, that might be what they want to try and get.
Yeah, and I'm curious, too, how much of content is Apple looking for here? I mean, we constantly are covering the writer's strike, the actor's strike. I know that you're on top of it. But it's a question of, are they looking to bring in different opportunities, bring in new audiences, and how much content are they, trying to get on since they don't have that backfill of shows that they once had maybe a few years ago? And when you think about, what we've seen in the past few months with MLS and things like that, I just don't know if it played out exactly how they would have predicted if it wasn't for Lionel Messi. And I think that it's, as I was saying before, there's Max Verstappen, there's Sergio Perez on F1. They have a large fan base, but does every single one of these players have a large enough fan base to bring a major audience to Apple that would really pay this off?
And what happens to Drive to Survive, right? We didn't even talk about that. We're talking about F1. We talked a lot about that Netflix effect.
Yeah.
You would assume if Apple is going to get involved, they would want that popular documentary to now be on their streaming
platform.
Of course.
Which would be presumably great for Apple.
And that has been Netflix's game plan right now. They're not doing the live sports, but they're leaning into the documentary side of it.